we basically have two circuits in our bodies. And so the left side of our heart, the left atrium and left ventricle, their job is to collect blood from the lungs. I'll get into how it gets to the lungs later, but they collect oxygenated or fresh blood ready to deliver oxygen and fuel to our bodies. So they collect it in the left atrium, and then that left atrium squishes blood down into the left ventricle. The left ventricle, when it contracts, it pushes blood up through a very, very large artery called your aorta, through a valve, and that valve's called your aortic valve. And then it's sort of the stump of the tree, this aorta, and then it has all kinds of branches, and they branch off initially to our brains and our arms, and then it kind of makes a loop and it goes down through the middle of our chest and our bellies, has branches off to all the organs through our bellies, and then it kind of makes two branches and goes down your legs. So the aorta is the stump of the tree, the biggest artery in our body. I'll give you some trivia in case you ever want to like be Cliff Clavin and try and look smart in a cocktail party. So your aorta is normally about 3 centimeters wide when it starts, or diameter, so just over an inch, and then it gradually gets smaller and smaller, and all these branches come off of it. So the left side of the heart pumps through the aorta and all the blood vessels that go to our body, and then that blood gets used up, meaning the oxygen gets taken out of the blood, and our waste product from all the things that our cells in our body do is carbon dioxide. And so carbon dioxide gets picked up by the blood, and then it comes back to the heart through veins. I'll talk a little bit more about the blood vessels in a bit, but through veins, and it comes back to the right side of the heart. So the left side pumps to the body, and it comes back to the right side of the heart. So it collects in the right atrium, and then the right atrium squishes blood down through a valve into the right ventricle, and then the right ventricle starts the second circuit. So it pumps blood out, but it pumps used up blood. Remember, this is blood that's come back from the body and has carbon dioxide in it, and it pumps it to the lungs. So the right side of the heart is not nearly as strong as the left side. It just doesn't need to be. It's only pumping blood a short distance off to the lungs through pulmonary arteries. There's a right and a left pulmonary, and there's usually 2 on each side. And so the muscle wall of the right ventricle is a lot thinner than on the left ventricle. You think about where it has to pump, it just doesn't have to be as strong. So the right ventricle contracts with the left ventricle, pushes blood out to the lungs. Again, it goes through arteries, and the pulmonary arteries are rather large to start, and then they branch into these little smaller arteries and eventually things called capillaries in the lungs. That's where our carbon dioxide gets delivered into the lung space, and oxygen gets picked up through a really, we call it a membrane. It's just like a thin wall, and these capillaries are so small that it's basically one blood vessel or one red blood cell kind of flowing through at a time. So the carbon dioxide leaves, oxygen comes in, and then the blood comes back to the left atrium, and then the cycles continue. So we do have 2 cycles, and both are happening at the same time. The tops contract, the bottoms contract, left out to the body, right out to the lungs. Blood comes back from the opposite side, and then we carry on and on and on.